Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I am trying something new. I saw Bubble Yum yesterday at Target and they also had cotton candy flavored. And so I don't think I've had this in maybe since I was like a kid, but I decided to try it for this video. I vaguely remember the taste of it, but it's been so long since I've had it, so I just thought it would be fun to try something different. So I'm gonna do a story time. I'm going to be drinking water and coffee with my story time. My niece made this mug. How cute is this? So I'm having kind of a relaxing morning, and yeah, I decided this was the perfect time for a video. So does anybody prefer this over just regular bubblegum flavor? I looked for the Big League Chew grape, but they did not have that. I haven't seen that in so long, so I'm kind of wondering where to get that. So yeah, if you have any recommendations for where I can look, let me know. But this will do for now. It smells so good. I wonder if it's gonna turn my mouth blue. This taste is kind of nostalgic. I think I talked about that in a recent video, like things that taste and smell like your childhood or something. It's really good. I haven't had it in a long time. Yeah, this was a nice treat. I'm drinking the holiday blend, Starbucks holiday blend coffee. It's not the holidays, but I came to my parents' house and they had this, and I love this blend. I usually only have it around Christmas time, but I have realized that, probably not Starbucks necessarily, but I went to Trader Joe's recently and they had some of their holiday coffees for like super cheap because it's not the holidays. And I was like, oh yes. Like, I will drink holiday coffee at any time of year, so it doesn't matter to me. So when I can get like those special blends for cheap, it was awesome. They had like a winter blend, Starbucks did, and then they're like pumpkin spice coffee, which is really good. I like their pumpkin spice. I like Starbucks pumpkin spice too. Okay, so today I was just kind of looking back through some photos. And also, you know how on Facebook it will pop up like, this many years ago on this day, this is what you were doing. I think it was this week. Yeah. It was this week. My husband showed me a picture of us in Cornwall in England. And it kind of put it in my head. And then I was looking back through photos today, trying to think of a story time to do. And those came up. And I was like, that would be a fun story time. So I decided to share about when we went to Cornwall. Well, I'm going to share some of the England trip, but mainly focus on Cornwall. So my husband and I, this was in 2016. So we had only been married like 6 months. We went to go visit my sister and her family in Germany. And we had planned some little trips to take while we were there, and one of those was to England. So Germany is so centrally located. It's really nice that you can get to so many countries. Well, in Europe anyway, you can get to so many countries so quickly. But we took a little flight to England. The reason being because my sister kind of planned the trip. I have shared before that maybe my favorite movie of all time is About Time, is the title of the film, About Time. And it's a British film, and it was filmed primarily in London and Cornwall, but the guy in the movie grew up in Cornwall, and so all the like happy family places are there. Well, my sister kind of surprised me that we were going to go to Cornwall and go find all the places that were in the movie. So first, as a precursor to this, the first day we were in England, my husband was driving the rental car. I may have shared this before. I don't think I did. But we flew it there in the early morning, rented a car. My brother-in-law drove us out to the cliffs of Dover from the London airport. I can't remember which airport it was. Heathrow or Gatwick. Probably Heathrow. Anyway, rented a car from there. He drove us to the cliffs of Dover, which was several hours away. Very beautiful. As I had mentioned previously, my brother-in-law had some experience driving over there because they had been before. My husband, however, had not had any experience. After we had lunch at this little pub, delicious, right outside of Dover, my husband was going to drive us to where we were staying for the evening. We were actually going to stay with some friends that night because we had some friends who lived there. We were supposed to be there for dinner. Anyway, we were not a mile down the road from the pub when my husband hit the curb and we got a flat tire. And we were stranded on the side of the road for hours until the rental company finally sent somebody to replace it. So we did so much driving on that trip, which actually wasn't ideal because my sister had 2 kids at the time, and one was like a year old and the other one was almost 4. Anyway, that's a whole other story, but needless to say, my husband did not drive anymore on that trip. And I really kind of felt bad for my brother-in-law because he had to drive everywhere. But after what we went through on that first day, it was just not worth it. The roads are so narrow in England also, especially in the countryside. Many of you can probably relate or know this, but anyway, I felt so bad for my husband. He felt so bad. It was a bad situation, but all that to say, we eventually made our way to Cornwall. And these were the photos I was looking at this week. The cottage that we stayed in by the sea was so beautiful. And I had read that my sister mentioned that it was kind of like it felt like we were in the cottage from The Holiday, the movie The Holiday, with Kate Winslet and Cameron Diaz. It was so beautiful and just like idyllic, like right by the sea. We could walk to the little pub. Oh, it was so beautiful. I remember the garden area was just so nice, and you could hear the waves and the beach. Anyway, we loved it. But so while we were there, our goal was to take these little day trips to go see the places from the movie About Time. So the tough thing about this was, which is understandable, they do not have the address of the house available online for you. And I understand that completely. The main reason might be because that house is actually an Airbnb now, or it was when we were there, which is so cool. It'll be so cool to stay in that house. But it gave kind of a general location. So like, I don't remember the specifics now, of course, but it gave kind of like a general area of this town. And I think somehow we eventually figured out what road maybe that it was on. And so we're driving so slowly down this road, just looking at all the houses. And you know, I have too much gum now. I'm gonna have to start over. It's too much. You know, things look different in real life than when you see them on the screen. The driveway, I'm getting ahead of myself, but the driveway looks so much longer in the film than it actually was. So we were looking for that. But anyway, we were having the hardest time finding it. And we're just looking creepily into everybody's like yard, driving along. And we passed this one house where I was like, that could be it, but that driveway, that is hardly a driveway. Like, I don't think that's it. So we kept driving, looking all the way down, because it kind of goes down all the way to the beach, that road. And we were finally like, look, this is ridiculous. It's not gonna happen. And I said, let's just go back to that one house. It may not be it, but that's our best shot. And we'd driven all this way. So we drove in to the driveway, which is so creepy. There are people staying at this house. And we realized that it was the right house. Once we could get in there and kind of get past the like hedges and shrubbery and stuff, we could see that it was the house from the movie. We're so happy. And we're just in this gravel driveway, and we know at this point that it's an Airbnb. So people are staying here, visiting here. And we just kind of sit there for a second in the driveway, and we're like, we don't know what to do, because we can't, we're on somebody else's property, we're in somebody else's space, but we're never going to be here again. So like, what do we do? What do we do? And my sister was like, that's it. I'm just going to go knock on the door and tell them the situation and just ask. What's the harm in asking if we can look at the house? And I was just so embarrassed. I was just like, we're complete strangers. Like, this is so weird. But she was like, we're never going to be here again. We will always regret it if we don't ask. Ask if that we can look at the house. And the worst case is they say no and we leave. And so I was just like cringing. Well, we got out. I think the men and the kids stayed in the car, and me and my sister went up to the door. And we're just like so happy because this is like our favorite movie, and we're there at the front door. And so we knock, and we're just like, I'm so embarrassed already. And I can feel that, like, thinking back. But anyway, this sweet British lady came to the door and answered the door. And we were just like, hi, like, we are so sorry to do this. But this house was like the film site for like our favorite movie about time. And we know you're staying here and we don't want to interrupt. So like, feel free to say no, but we just wondered if it might be possible for us to like take a look around. And she was so sweet. She was like, yes, of course you can. So we told the guys to get out and come, and she was like, when we booked this Airbnb, we didn't even know this. She said I don't know if it was somewhere at the house that said it, or how they found out. I can't remember, but since staying at the house, and it's a big house, so like their whole family, I think like aunts and uncles and kids and grandparents, I think it was the grandparents who were there at the time. She said that her kids and their kids were like out at the beach or something. So it ended up being like the perfect time to come because it was just the grandparents at the house. And she said they had just found out about it, and they had just watched the film for the first time the night before. And she said, so we've been going through the house, I'm trying to piece together like where these certain scenes were and all this stuff, and it was just so precious. She like just showed us all the bedrooms, showed us the big library. If you've seen the movie, you know what I'm talking about. But and we like took pictures by the wardrobe and like just the different like iconic places. Of course it looked, you know, different in real life because in the movie obviously they staged everything the way they wanted it, but it was just so cool. And we walked in the backyard. It's kind of high up on a ridge or something, but you can see the ocean. It's like in your backyard, but you're so high up. So we went in the backyard and looked at the different places from the movie. And she just like walked us around and showed us everything. And it was so precious. And just so nice of her to do that. I'm so thankful that she knew, at least at that point, that what we were talking about. Because it probably would have been way creepier if she didn't know. But anyway, I just remember just being so like overwhelmed by how nice that lady was and that she just let us in and look around and stuff, even though it was like their family vacation. The thing about the movie, there's a lot of scenes where like they start in the backyard and then go have tea at the ocean, and they walk down the little path to get there. But when we were doing all our research for where we were going to go look, the beach that's actually in the film is not the beach that's right below the house. So we didn't walk down there from the house. But after we had left the house where this precious lady let us look, we drove to another part of town that had the actual beach that they use in the film, and went down there where they had tea. And it was so sweet. And then that day we also went to the church where they get married. It's in Cornwall. It was so pretty. Well, that was just like a really fun day, like driving to those different sites and seeing like how beautiful everything was. I wonder if any of you like to do that for movies that you love. Like if you find yourself in that city, like going to those places. One place my husband and I did that was in Austin, Texas, because that's where they filmed Friday Night Lights, the show, the TV show. And we both loved that show. And so when we were in Austin years and years ago, we drove around to some of the different places that they filmed the show. So if you guys have ever done something like that, comment and tell me where and what movie it was or show. One thing we were interested in is like Stranger Things. We loved Stranger Things, and it was filmed in Atlanta. So we've thought about doing that sometime in Atlanta. Also, the Marvel movies, I think, are filmed in Atlanta. And you can do like a Marvel tour. It's really expensive, actually. We've looked into that, where you can like go see all the different places that they film stuff. I don't know why, but that's just fun to me. So yeah, that was my Cornwall story. It was such a fun day. And it was just such a fun trip. Everything was just so beautiful. And I just kind of feel like I'm going back in time a little bit. Like everything is like so, it feels so much simpler. And like all these people who just walked to that pub from the cottage that we were at, it was like a little village. And they, you know, all these people would just go there every day and like visit with each other. And that just seems so like, it's just different from how I live. I know there are obviously small, like really small towns in America that are like that, but just having that little village there with it had just like one little shop and one pub. And so everybody there would just kind of like do life together. It was really sweet. We met some really cool people on that trip. Oh, I miss traveling because I feel like we haven't gone somewhere big in a while, but we talk about that. My husband and I are like, we're just not in the season of life now to really do that. Like with a young kid and 2 kids on the way, like it's just going to be a little while before we do that again, but I know that we will. And I love it. So anyway, that's all I have to share today. But that was just a new story time. It's been a little while since I've done a story time. So I will try to find that Big League Chew. If anybody has an idea where I can get it. I don't really, somebody mentioned me buying it on Amazon. I wonder if you can buy just 1 pack because I don't really want to buy a huge thing, like buy it in bulk because I'm never going to do that. So let me know. Let me know if you have some thoughts about that. Hope everyone's having a great day and I'll see you soon.